Hello and welcome. This show is sponsored by Harvest Girls International Incorporated, and the show is called Let's Talk About It. Yes, let's talk about it. Let's talk about those things that we don't want to discuss in the open. Let's talk about those things that are in our hearts that we want to shout it from the rooftop, but maybe we're too shy, too afraid, or have some type of insecurities about it. This is what we want to talk about today: mental health awareness. May is Mental Health Awareness Month, and we are excited to talk about it. And you may say, how can you be so excited? Because we have the victory. And yes, this too shall pass. And yes, you can overcome. Hi, I'm your host, Chris Meadows. I'm the president of Harvest Girls International Incorporated. And I am here on behalf of Harvest Girls International on this fabulous YouTube channel. So please, would you like, share, and subscribe? We would love to have you tune in so you can see what we're doing. We're going to be talking about a lot of things that's near and dear to the hearts of women and to people, period. So I'm so excited to be here today to talk about mental health awareness. And I am no stranger to that myself. And so I have suffered from depression, and I have done the work. I've been on the journey, and I am so excited to share it with another young lady who is just an amazing coach, identity coach. She's not shy about telling her story, and her job is, once she was healed, that others could be healed by her story. And I always say that our story is someone else's survival guide. You know, we go through it and we make it through, but then that story we tell will help someone else survive through what they're going through. And so without any further ado, I want to introduce you to Janisha Bessiake. And so, Janisha, I'm so excited. Did I say your name right? Tell me if I didn't.
Janisha.
Janisha.
Yep.
Bessiake. Yes,
Yep.
I got it now. Okay. I want to be clear that I say everybody's name right. But I'm so excited to have you here today. And would you please just open by just telling our listeners a little bit about yourself?
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Ms. Meadows, for allowing me to just have this conversation and to just share my story. So I just want to honor you and just say thank you for this opportunity, but also for the amazing work that you're doing as well.
Oh, thank you so much.
Yes. So I'm originally from Detroit, Michigan. That's where I grew up, born and raised. And I ended up moving to Indiana, Carmel, Indiana. So that's where I reside now. And I've been here for about 5 years. It'll be 5 years going on July. And so that's where I'm from. What else do you want to know?
Well, tell me a little bit about your journey. Your journey into finding out about mental health. How did you first embrace it? What did you know anything about it? What got you to the place that you knew that you needed mental health help, or you needed something more than what the doctors could just give you?
Mm-hmm. So with my journey with mental health, I actually did not know I needed it at first. That was not something my family was introduced to. They were not. None of my family I don't think, has experience going to see a counselor, and so it just wasn't familiar at all. And so I did not know that I needed it. It wasn't until I actually moved here, when I got married to my wonderful husband, Mark Bessiake. He actually told me that, he introduced it to me, and he basically said, maybe you need to talk to someone. So to kind of give you guys some context, when I got married, my insecurities, my inadequacies, and just everything that comes with not knowing who you are began to reveal itself on the highest level. that I was not aware of. Well, I was aware of it a little bit, but it just heightened when I got married, full exposure. And so my husband basically was saying that I cannot heal you and I cannot make you secure.
Mm-hmm.
And he was like, maybe you need to go see someone. And so I think he planted that in my head until I was able to actually seek it out. And so he also introduced me to a mental health counselor. Mm-hmm. So that's kind of how that journey started.
So tell me, what were your insecurities? Do you know what they were? I mean, you said you had a little bit of an idea, but what were the insecurities, if you could share them?
Mm-hmm. So before I got married, I was on my journey. I was freshly converted as a Christian. So I was building my relationship with God. And so that's what began to happen. I started to see how God and his word, how he introduced kind of this new language as far as just the kingdom, but also identity. And when I would read his word, I was thinking to myself, like, I don't believe that. And I don't see that within myself. Mm-hmm. So that's kind of how it began. All of the inadequacies and the jealousy, the intimidation that I would have when it came to seeing other confident, powerful women. When I looked at other women that was secure, or who I thought was secure, it intimidated me because it reminded me of what I wasn't.
That's exactly right. Yes.
Yeah.
That's what it does. I mean, really, am I right? That's what it does. You only feel some kind of, and I always say, you only feel some kind of way when you're not where you need to be in that area. Yeah. Because if I was secure and I walk in a room with another individual who's very secure, confident, let me say that, mm-hmm. I have no need to be insecure about their confidence, but it's because of mine, not theirs.
Right.
Yeah, that I'm feeling that way. So I get that. I've been there before. I get that. Yeah. So tell me, so how did you align your faith with mental health? Because we live in a world today, still, it's taboo. Mm-hmm. It's taboo in the church. In some cases, it's getting better to talk about mental health and faith. And so how did you come to terms with yourself to align those two together and know that and I always use the scripture, all things work together for them, for the good, for them who are the called according to God, to his purpose. And I had that issue as well, because I kept saying, I'm just going to pray, I'm going to do all these different things, and then I'll be just fine. And it occurred to me one day, I had an older lady say, do you go to the doctor when you don't feel well? And I said, absolutely. Mm-hmm. She said, well, this is just a different doctor, so you need to go to the doctor and see about yourself. So I'm curious to know, as a young lady, how did you, and a newly convert in the Lord and finding your way in the faith, how did you align that mental health help with your faith?
So it wasn't actually until I moved here to Indiana where I started to pursue the counselor that my husband introduced me to. And as I was going through the counseling, I started to see all of these, I guess, answers or these different things that started to unlock. My pain was able to be identified that I wasn't aware of. I was just able to find roots to things concerning why I felt the way that I felt about myself. And so mental health unlocked answers that just prayer could not do. And what I mean by that is, before I started getting the mental health counseling, people would tell me I was getting advice from, my brothers and sisters in Christ, or leaders that I looked up to, and they would tell me, pray about it. speak the word of God over yourself, those kind of things, do daily affirmations to make yourself walk into that. And I did that. I went through a season of just doing that, and I still found myself defeated. And because I was growing in God, you know, and just the revelation of who He is, I knew that I was thinking to myself, God, I know that your word is real and it's true and it works. And I know that prayer works, but there is a wall that I'm hitting, that is preventing your word, and it feels like it's preventing prayer to not work. And so as I started getting these sessions, after these things was uprooted and I'm finding all of these answers, I finally was able to realize where I was hurting, why I was hurting, why I felt the way that I felt about myself. My mind was literally being picked, as if I was in the surgery room, you know, and just having my mind being picked. And so because of that, I was able to, it was just able to give me, what am I trying to say? It was just able to give me the answers that I was looking for. And so when all of these things started to uproot, I was finally able to truly believe the word of God. And prayer was actually starting to work for me, because it was like it was like God, through the mental health counseling, pulled up roots so that He can plant new ones. And the reason why I was hitting the wall was because I was trying to declare the word of God over those old roots. And God is like, you can't declare my truth over your lie. You have to uproot the lies so that I can come in and place a new foundation.
So in other words, you had to do the work. You had to dig down. You had to break up. The fallow ground had to be broken up. You had to do work. Now, listen, everybody that looks at this is not a Christian. And there may be some other beliefs here. So we just don't want to just keep this between Christianity and mental health. Let's just talk about mental health, period. And I'm doing this because I want everybody to get the correct information.
Yeah.
What did the therapy, what did the work, it's more than therapy. So just tell us a little bit about what you went through. First of all, you're an identity coach, and we're going to talk about that in just a little bit. You're an identity coach. And so and most times when you become something as great as you have become now, there's something that you found in yourself that is greater than anything you could ever imagine. And now you want to share that. Tell me about, as an identity coach, were you able to identify and name those things that were your brick walls that you were hitting? And when you were able to identify them, was there freedom in that? I want to talk about that.
Yes. So my counselor, she asked me a question that totally changed the trajectory of my life. And what that question was, she asked me, who cultivated or built worth inside of you? Now, nobody has ever in their life asked me that question before. And it kind of unlocked an answer that I didn't know. The question unlocked an answer, basically. And it changed the trajectory of my life because it made me realize that my answer was nobody. Now, I'm not saying that my mother and my father did not pour into me. What I'm saying is that that identity piece was never spoken into me enough to where I could confidently say I know who I am. And so that part, it wasn't consistent. And she went to go on and she was like, I'm not talking about someone just saying you look beautiful when you get dressed, or you did a good job when something happened. But she said, I'm talking about someone who put you aside and defined who you were, who affirmed who you were, and not just once or twice, but on a consistent basis, building something in you. And I went home and I literally wept, and I literally fell to my knees, and a cry came from me that I cannot explain. And I knew that it was a breakthrough in that moment, because I finally was able to see that I've been searching for something that
Never was there.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right.
And it is freedom in knowing that even though that you didn't even have it. I mean, sometimes we're upset because we didn't get it because everybody else got it. But when people can only give you what they have themselves, our parents can only share what they already know, what they have. And so our core values have a lot to do with what's in our soul. And we only have what we've been given. And so we're taught, at least in my generation, we were taught, whatever your mother and your father say, that's it. And I just took that for face value and didn't build on it. But what it means is they give you what they have, you take that and you expand upon that. I always say, chew the meat and spit out the bones, because there's some things that are good for me and some things that may not work so well. It's not that they didn't give you everything that they had, or everything that you needed. They gave you everything that they had. And so it's up to us to find our own happiness. It's up to us to build our own life, to choose our directions. They just give us what they have. And so I think sometimes culturally, we have been taught this is the road. And if you don't know anything different, you don't. But what I find out is that when your soul requires more, you run into those brick walls. And so I feel like part of the journey is hitting those walls and waking up and saying, hey, why do I keep hitting this wall? Right. And the reason, I want to talk about when you got your breakthrough through your brick wall. What happened?
So
when
after
did you know? When did you know?
It was when we started talking about what's called mother and father roles, where you basically examine what foundation was built for you as a child, in those developmental stages, I guess. What was built, what was defined. And so we literally went over everything that a mother gives, everything that a father gives, and based on what they gave, what did that define for you? Based on what they did not give, what did that define for you? And I was just able to see so many cracks of why I felt like I did not truly know who I was.
Yes.
And so after having those answers, after seeing that part of my upbringing and how I was loved and all of these different things, it allowed me to begin to create a new foundation. I was able to.
And I want to stop at that word, create. Sometimes we don't know what it needs to look like. We have to create it. I always say the word I am is the most two powerful words of being that God gave us.
I love it.
I am, or the two most powerful words of being in the universe is I am. And when you said I had to create, and the one thing that I found out when I was going through my mental health process is that I didn't think I had the power to do anything other than what was before me. And I didn't realize that the power to create was inside of me all the time. And once you establish that, then that takes you to the next level. And that sometimes brings forth purpose. And I think for you, that's kind of what happened. Can you tell me, let's just have a candid girlfriend conversation about mental health. So Some people think that mental health is wilding out, running down the street, crazy, screaming, talking to yourself, scratching your head, out of control, not knowing where you are, don't know what day it is. They think that you're just so zoned out and you're just this person that everybody looks at and goes, ew, you don't have any idea what's going on in your life. Mental health is, people function out on mental health every day, with mental illness every day, with mental health issues every day. We function. I know I worked every day, and I worked in depression for a long time before I knew what it was. But my prayer was, something had to be better than this, Lord. Something, show me something better than this.
Right.
And when that door, and I said, it's got to be something better than this.
Yes.
And when that door opened, it didn't open like, here, my darling child, walk through this door, and here's your answer. I had to hit a brick wall too. I hit a brick wall. I was driving down the street. I have twin boys, and they were at the time probably 5 or 6, and I was driving. They're 33 now, so that's how long that's been. But I want to say too, mental health is a continuous journey. You learn yourself, you learn your triggers, and that's one thing when we talk about identity. That's a huge part. But anyway, I was driving down the street. I had taught myself how to zone out when I was feeling kind of like, I don't want to deal with this. I just kind of would zone out in my head, I guess, or in my body. I don't know. I just kind of could zone out. If anybody's ever zoned out, you know what I'm talking about. And there was a red light. And I saw the red light, but I didn't pay any attention. I was so busy looking at the cars stopping. I'm like, why are these cars stopping? I'm frazzled. I'm upset. The kids are in the back seat laughing and playing. And I'm like, these cars are so stupid. Why are they stopping? And I went around the cars and zigzagged through them and ran straight through the red light. And when I ran through the red light, halfway through the red light, I said, wow, we're about to crash. But we didn't, no cars were coming. But that was the brick wall when I realized I could have been killed and killed my children. And I immediately said to my doctor, something's wrong, I need help. Sometimes you have to say to yourself, this is not all, this can't be all there is to life. There has to be something different. And so sometimes sometimes it'll be you that will have to step up to your own plate and take control and say, yes, I need to do something different. I want to ask you, did you have anything that you want to share that kind of just said, wow, I need to see about myself. This is not right. You know, everybody has that awakening or that brick wall or that defining moment. Do you have any one of those you want to speak about?
Honestly, I didn't know that there was something that could get me over to that other side. I didn't even think that I would be able to overcome it, because because I over spiritualized it. Right. And that was when,
tell us what that means.
So basically when you so, you know, like when you were talking about how people would just tell you, you know, to just pray about it and to speak the word of God over your situation, right? There's some things that I feel like we are too complex as human beings to only have one answer to everything. And I was praying, but there was something deeper I needed to help me unlock myself, because I was at a point where I identified myself with the pain. So I see myself as the insecurity or as the inadequacy. This is just who I am. And so and because I identified myself with it, I just didn't feel like there was a way out. I honestly didn't. And so I feel like God will place either people or someone if you're not even in a space where you can come to that place, like, I really need help, that he will send someone in your life that make you realize
Yeah,
I need help.
absolutely. Because you said something just then that was just so key for me, is that when you don't even realize that you need it and there's no way out and you didn't think you could get over it, that is why many times people do take their own lives. And because they feel that it's not that they want to
Yeah.
to pass or they want to die, they want the pain to stop. And sometimes we don't understand that when we hear that. Well, what would make somebody want to do that? And we never know what is going on. It's not, and there are so many ways that they can't express themselves. I know I couldn't express myself when I was going through depression.
Mhm.
I didn't feel like I could. And if I did, but there were signs there, I could see my own signs after I went back, writing in my diary. I could see my writing was huge and it
Mhm.
was sloppy. But once I started to heal and
Mhm.
started to mend and I started to write in my diary, I would look back and see the difference in the writing, because there's signs all the time. I would
Yeah.
look at old pictures that I took
Oh,
when
yeah.
I was going through, and I could see it because my makeup was smeared and my
Yeah.
lipstick was over top of my lip and eyeliner was, it was, and nobody said anything. And so you think, well, wow, I didn't even see that then, but now I
Yeah.
can see it. And once you learn yourself and you learn your triggers and you learn all those things, that journey is a beautiful journey. Not only is it a journey to help you self-discover who you are, because mental uh, health is not just about being depressed or any just those things. It's, say, if you're stuck in life, in a life choice. I don't
Right.
know whether I need to quit, go to school, quit my job, go to school, move out of state. Sometimes just going to therapy, going to process things, or talking
Right.
to someone who can help you separate some of the confusion in your mind is what it's all about. And it's not just a journey for certain people. Everybody can benefit from it. Where I want to get to with you, your
Right.
identity coach. Tell
Mhm.
us what that is, what you do, and how did you come to that?
Yeah, so after I did my work with the mental health, um, I knew that I wanted to help anyone who felt the way that I felt.
Mhm.
And I told myself that if I got out of this, that I wanted to help unlock other people, so that they can be and so that they can walk in their authentic self. And so once I got the mental health counseling, that was the light bulb. That was the aha moment. It's like, this is how you're going to use these principles, these practices, these methods to help pull people out, but you're going to use the mental health practices, but you're going to integrate it with the Bible, or biblical principles. And so once I had that aha moment, I just started seeking, I basically started pursuing purpose. Because I'm like, okay, God, I hear you. And so I was trying to look at which avenue or which platform could I do that in, and coaching seemed like the best fit,
Mhm.
because it was goal oriented and very um, results based. And so I'm like, perfect. So I started, just started doing my research on who I wanted to coach, and what my message was and how I was going to do it. And so it just, after that, it just pretty much took off from there.
So tell us what you offer. What is it that you offer from your journey to your business? Tell us the name of your business and how can we find you and what do you offer?
Mhm. So my coaching practice is called Bessiake Coaching. So that's after my last name. And you guys can find me on Facebook. I have a Facebook business page called Bessiake Coaching. Um, So stay tuned because right now I am working on a website. But I offer one-on-one coaching and I also offer group coaching.
Okay, and so in that coaching, what can they get from you out of that
Mhm.
coaching? Just give us a peek. We don't want to
Okay.
reveal all your trade secrets, but just give us a peek
Okay.
of what they can get from you. How
Yes.
can you
So,
transform them?
mhm.
Yeah.
So my number one goal after you have completed the sessions is for you, one, to be secure in who you are and to begin to pursue your God-given purpose.
Mhm.
Those are the two goals that I'm very adamant about and that I want you to walk into after we're done.
Mhm.
And so I take you through a 7-stage process, and I'll just give you two of those processes that I take you through. Um, One of them is called finding the root. And finding the root is where we get basically dig into the nitty gritty
Mhm.
of your childhood, of
Yeah.
your upbringing, your fears, your wounds. And we kind of examine the foundation that has been laid for you so we can pluck it out.
Okay.
So that's one of the stages I take you through. Another one is called detachment. And that's basically where I teach you how to differentiate yourself from what you've experienced or what you've been through. Because I've personally identified myself with my pain. And so I want to help you learn how to detach yourself from what you've been through because you are not what you've been through.
That's right. That's exactly right. And I always say what has happened to you is what has happened to you. It's not who you are. And so I always feel like these kind of classes, and let's just say, are not just for people who need therapy, people who have mental health issues. These identity classes are for everyone, anybody that wants to go to the next level,
Yeah.
anybody that wants to just kind of find out who they are, find out what their purpose and call might be, find out some of those triggers in your life. Why do I keep repeating the same thing and getting the same result? But I do want to change, but it seems like I'm powerless to get past it. That's what we're going to do here with Bessiake coaching. You're going to get past that brick wall. And so
Yeah.
I'm just so excited that you're going to have all of this already. It's already ready to go. We just need everybody to go and sign up, and we're going to leave the information down in the description box below so that you can contact Bessiake Coaching and you can sign up and you can get started. It doesn't matter how old you are. It doesn't matter what you've been through. It doesn't matter what has happened to you. There is still a celebration in you. And yes, we must celebrate the journey. Well, I have to say, this has been a very intense talk
Yes.
about mental health illness awareness month. And I want to say I thank you so much for coming on, because this has been something that is near and dear to my heart. And I don't
Yeah.
think we talk enough about it. And
Yeah.
maybe in the future we can have some further conversations
Yeah.
about some of these things and bring some of our ladies and gentlemen into the knowledge of it's
Yeah.
not taboo anymore. It's
Yeah.
necessary. It's possible to reach your full potential. It's possible to knock down those walls and barriers that hold you back. I'm excited to see all the young women like yourself who are starting your own businesses, but you're doing the work. I don't believe in starting a business of this nature and you have never done the work and you have never experienced it. And the best teacher is the experience. And I will say this, just being in your presence the few times that I have, I am awed by your maturity and your growth. I can tell that you have grown and you've matured, and now you're ready to set the world on fire, and we're ready for you. And so
Yeah.
thank you so much for coming on. I am so very, very proud of you, very, very proud of how you and your husband are operating. And this is just the beginning. The best is yet to come. So let me give you the last word, whatever you would like to say to the audience concerning anything. Just go ahead and take the next couple of seconds or minutes and do that.
Okay. I want to speak to the person that is not, who doesn't feel ready to begin to touch these sensitive or hurting areas. I can relate and understand not wanting to talk about it, not wanting to feel it, not allowing yourself to process it or feel the hurt or allow yourself to hurt. And I just want to encourage you and let you know that you can overcome it. You can get to the other side. As you go through it, you have to go through it. And I wanted to let you know that it is possible, because I thought that I would never get to that side. I thought I would never be able to have enough boldness and strength to go through it. But I went through it and I had help. I had a support system, and I'm praying and hoping that you would say yes to your journey, to your purpose, to your identity, that you would say yes to the journey, and to see what is about to come out of you. So that is my word of encouragement that I would give to anyone who feel as if they cannot. You can.
Yes, yes, you can. I love that. See what will come out of you. I love that, because there's something great on the inside of each and every one of us. Yes, I
Yes.
do believe that as well. So we're
Yes.
going to leave our audience at this time, and we want to thank everybody for tuning in. And as I said, I will leave all of the information in the description box below. And we just want you to know that no matter what you're going through in life, no matter what has happened to you or what you've done, celebrate that journey, because yes, there is still a celebration in you. And remember, transformation does begin